Good evening and welcome to my garden. Today we're going to look at some cabbage seed. This is the seed pods. These are not quite ready to harvest yet. They're still green. The seed is not mature yet. We have west off of this plant that we had already taken a head off of last winter, during the winter, and we overwintered this stump, and it sent up all of this shoots. And it has bloomed. Here's some blooms on a red cabbage, still in bloom, and put on all these seed pods. Now these seed pods, they'll hold anywhere from 4 to 12 seeds, maybe even more per pod, depending on how well they did. And we want to let them finish maturing before we harvest. But over here on this red cabbage, we do have some pods that are mature. This one right here. I'll snap him off. And just to show you what it looks like inside, there's our cabbage seed. Will pop open, and there's our cabbage seed in that pod. And we don't want to be snapping them like that because we'll end up with cabbage seed all over. Put that in the can here. Thresh this one out here completely. You can just get an idea of how many seeds is in a pod. And we're in a drought, so this didn't do quite as well as it should have. But there's our cabbage seeds out of that one pod. But it doesn't take many pods and we'll have a lot of cabbage seed. Now when we go to harvest these, the best way to do this, if we let them mature on the stem like this, is we'll take our garden shear, something I recommend everybody have, just a good cheap pair, I should say cheap, but a good pair of these kind of kitchen shear, garden shears like this. We just reach in there, we find the pods that are mature, and we can just snip them off. Now because I'm doing this one-handed, I'm not going to snip this guy off. We just reach in there and we snip them off. And catch that pod in our container. We don't want to let it hit the ground because if it does, it's a good chance it'll break open. But hold this underneath the pod, snip it off, let it drop in there. Take our pods get them in there and let them dry a few days. And don't seal the can up. I'll leave it open to air. Keep working those pods around so it doesn't mold. Better even if you have a large flat cookie sheet or something, or put them on paper so they really get good airflow. So that seed can dry. And when they get really dry, we take our hand. If we have a lot, we'd use a flail, but with a few, we use hand. We put them right there, our hand just crunch up those pods. Just crinkle them up with our hands. The seed falls out. And then we dump that through a sieve where the seed can fall through. And the pod pieces will stay up above in the sieve. Shake it around real good, get all our seed out. And we throw away our pods into the compost, and we keep our seed. And our seed will still have quite a bit of debris in it, so we take that seed and we will take it in a container like this and put a large container underneath, up in the air, and just dribble it down when there's a light breeze. So the seed falls straight down and our debris blows away. That's called fanning or winnowing. We'll winnow its seed out, get it all clean. We want to store this seed properly. Now because it could have insects that laid their eggs on these pods or on some of the seeds, they'll bore in and sometimes lay an egg on the seed for a little weevil. We store that seed in the deep freeze, or at least give it a treatment with freezing temperatures. Or we can add a little diatomaceous earth to our seed, shake it around in there in order to control those worms, those weevil larvae, from eating our seed. But if we store it in the freezer, it will last us a lot longer, and as we will have more seed than we're going to need in 1 year, probably more seed than we're going to need in 5 or 6 years, the freezer is the best place to store it. so we can get as many years out of it as possible, which I have planted cabbage seed that's been up to 20 years old. It's been stored in a freezer. But anyway, that's cabbage seed. That's how we get it. We start with a plant like this one. It was allowed to, overwinter it under cover, and then we let it go to flower, send up the stalk, flower, and mature into these seed pods, and then harvest our seed. Want you all to have a wonderful day. Go out, get your hands dirty, play around, have some fun there in the garden, try something new, and above all, keep growing.